Our guest today, very, very talented performer. The single is All Time Low and the album is The Human Condition. Ladies and gentlemen, John Bellion's here.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Welcome back to the UK, obviously, first of all. Exciting time for you, man.
Yeah.
It's all kind of blowing up and kicking off a little bit. Yeah.
It's well.
How are you finding it? You a little bit tired?
A little bit. But it's nothing. I mean, it's good problems. It's good to be tired. If you're not tired, there's something wrong. So.
You're working hard, is what we like to hear, man. It's good. Well, yeah, like we say, the single is All Time Low. Obviously, you've added Little Stormzy guest on there now, which is very, very cool. Were you a fan of his before? Did you know each other at all or anything?
No, he, one day he ended up, I guess, like, kind of going on a little Twitter rant about my music. I wasn't familiar with who he was, but a lot of people were like, collab, oh my gosh. And I was like, wait, what's going on? Who is this guy? I got sucked into a vortex from his videos for like 3 hours. I'm like, this guy's amazing. The bars, the content, it was really, really dope. So we ended up just becoming cool.
Nice.
DMing each other.
Yeah, happened organically then.
Yep, and then before Gang Signs and Prayer even came out, I was like, yo, I got this record. If it ends up being successful, we'll probably bring it to the UK.
Yeah, sure.
You should hop on it. And I wasn't really interested in anybody else. I was like, because I was a genuine fan. But even before, I mean, he's like massive.
Yeah.
So it was cool. And he was like, yeah. So he cut it. 2 weeks later, he cut it. And then we worked on a record for him for Gang Signs and Prayer.
Man.
And something happened with the clearance of the sample and with the production and stuff that it didn't make it for that album.
Right.
But when that joint drops, that's, it's a dope song.
So another secret track with Stormzy coming up. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah,
amazing. And it's like grime a thing in the US yet? Has it kind of translated a bit? No, man, you're so ahead of the curve. I love this. Yeah.
Not that, and I don't mean no as in like it couldn't be.
Oh, sure. It's just not done it yet.
Yeah, just people aren't familiar with the sound and whatnot. I think that's why I love it so much. It's so refreshing for even me.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a 90s hip-hop guy from New York, so to hear a different flow, a different culture, a completely different take on rap and whatnot, it's very refreshing, so it's fun to listen to.
Nice one, man. We'll look out for that. The other thing I've got to ask you about here, so I heard a little rumor there's this big Pixar connection with you, man. Is this true? So the artwork's awesome, by the way. If you've not seen the artwork, go and check it out. It looks absolutely awesome.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, I heard that you basically been hustling for Pixar jobs, right? Is that effectively the way to say this?
Yeah.
So did you meet with a Pixar exec on one of the tour dates?
Yes, I did.
Talk me through this meeting, man. What were you talking about?
I can't.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
Don't tease me like that, John.
They got some cool stuff coming out. They got some cool, but yeah, long story short, I just used my debut album once the music was finished and I knew the product was great and I knew that I put everything into this album. I wanted to use the cover and all the artwork that goes along with it as a business plan to get to Pixar, to get their attention. So when I'm in a conversation like this with you guys, a guy like John Lasseter happens to be listening, and I put it into the universe.
He's a regular fan. I always think he's a regular fan, you know. This is it.
This is what we should be doing. If you want a job at Pixar, we should just drop it into every interview from now on.
This is it.
And I ended up doing that, and they got wind of it. They ended up listening to it. We got to go to the campus. I've met some directors of some movies and stuff like that. So, yeah, so hopefully things move forward.
Mate, I wish I had an hour with you now because I could just talk about that campus. Oh man, right. Just quickly, cool highlights in that place. Was it the cereal bar? Was it the Hawaiian shirt store? Talk to me.
It was everything. The way, so people's cubicles were whatever world that you want to set up. So people had like a castle for a cubicle.
That's so
or someone had a tiki hut as their place where they work, and it was. You would literally pull things down, secret doors would open up, and there'd be bars in the wall.
Oh, I just love it so much.
It was the most beautiful campus I've ever seen. And they got basketball courts and volleyball courts, but they'll be like the Pixar ball is the logo on the court. It's like it looks like one of the funnest places to work you could ever imagine. So yeah,
that's so cool. I love that, man. Well, fingers crossed we'll get to see some work with them in the future. That's what we're all hoping for, man. Other thing we got to ask you about, obviously you just finished touring with one of our favorite bands on the site, which is 21 Pilots, obviously. How was touring with them, man?
It was great.
They're welcoming guys,
helping you out. The nicest. When you get, I've said this so many times, but when you get to that level, you're not expected to necessarily be welcoming or kind or humble or whatever. Everybody in their crew was amazing. They let us do us. They let us do what we wanted on stage, and it was a great experience opening. And their fans are super welcoming and were super cool. So
well, that's what I was going to say as well. Like the fans are so dedicated in the Skeleton Clique. You know, have you found that there's some of that following's kind of come across for you already? That's amazing. That's so
I mean,
nice
they sold out across the country. It was like they're doing 18 to 22,000 a night, back to back, all over the country in the U.S. So it was a great experience.
So when you win your Grammy, then are you going to collect it in your pants as well? Just like
keep it up, Tyler and Josh's trend. This is what we want.
Yeah, I think my pants might stay on. I wouldn't have a cool enough story to.
Yeah, to be fair, they did have to justify it a lot, didn't they? That one, that's fair. But you did like the covers and stuff in the covers medley. You hopped on stage with them a couple of times. Is that right? Yeah. So any kind of highlights from that? What was your favorite cover to jump up with them?
A lot of those songs, because those are songs that he grew up listening to that impacted him greatly. And you know, when you're 12, 11 years old, you're not listening to the coolest underground indie stuff. So it was fun to play Tub Thumping and joints like that, like for 18,000 people. That's like something you do in your shower. Like, you'll rap No Diggity, like Dre's verse and No Diggity, which is what I did on stage. And that's something you do when you're 15. Like one day, you imagine with the bar of soap, you're like, I'm on stage for 18,000 rapping like a classic rap verse. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh man, that's so cool to hear. Yeah. And also the other thing, I've seen this flying around Reddit. Now you can dispel this rumor if you want. We'll see what happens. There was rumors going around that you were spotted in the studio with Tyler and Josh working on something. Tell me if it's true or not, John. Come on.
I can't say
panic in his eyes.
You can't say anything. I feel like if it was a no, you could say no.
I learned my lesson, man. When we got asked to go on tour with them, I said it. I mean, I didn't even directly say it. It was like I mentioned it in passing in some like tiny little interview that day. Like I said it to one of my homies and I was like, oh, by the way, they hit me, something like that. Within
Sorry, what was the end of that sentence, by the way? They what? They what? What was the sentence?
3 hours.
Oh,
like
man.
The internet was like, he's going on tour with them. Oh my God.
I'm surprised it took them 3 hours, to be honest.
It's true, to be fair. The clique are hardcore, man.
Yeah, no, I can't. I think something... It's safe to say that we would work on something. We both have major respect for each other and our crafts and what we do. So at some point, I'm sure something would happen.
And has there been any more solid talks than that? You've been hanging in any studio environments, John?
With them?
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay. All right. Okay. People must have been seeing things. Just really. Their eyes must have deceived them. Yeah.
Seeing what they want to see.
Yeah. Let's see.
They've been super busy. Even when we go on tour,
of course.
he had a studio in his bus when we were on tour and stuff, so we had access to it the whole time. But they got a lot going on. I think when they get more of in a creative process and that's that season to go back and start creating for the next album. See what happens.
Well, fingers crossed. We'll look out for that. Fingers crossed, man. All right, we want to play a little game with you, John, if that's all right. So this is a game we like to call the Pop Buzz Confession Booth. Don't look worried. It's going to be all right. So basically what we do is we have a series of slightly embarrassing questions, and we want you to be as honest as possible, all right, as we enter in the Pop Buzz Confession Booth. And like a typical confession booth, we have our Reverend there. It is, of course, Reverend Woody over here.
Hello.
Hello, Father Woody.
Such reverence.
Of course. Father Woody takes his role very, very seriously in the Pop Buzz studio. All right, I'll pass you on over to Father Woody then if you want to proceed with the first question. On you go.
What was your first email address?
Crossing you up 101. Because I thought I had the ill basketball game when I was like 12.
That's a good one. I actually kind of like that. You can pull it off. That's true.
All right. What is the most embarrassing thing in your web browser history?
My web browser history. Oh man, I've been looking at a ton of like interior design things.
Oh really?
I just like purchased a house. So,
amazing.
Yeah, busted up to do that. So yeah, it probably is like gold sink fixture. Ooh. Like Martha Stewart style. Like
You're going with the gold sink fixture. Very nice choice, John.
Looking at curtains online, like my life's so flashy now.
Literally, like, oh, I like that autumn tint of that situation. You try to stay manly through it, but it's not possible.
This is the world of hip hop in 2017. It's all about that tiling. You gotta check the bathroom tiling, man. This is it. It's important stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, what's the biggest lie you've ever told?
Biggest lie I've ever told. When I was in, I want to say it was either 2nd or 3rd grade. I used to go to a private school, and there was a bus, and the bus was like a shorter bus. It was like a tiny bus. So everybody really knew each other on the bus with the bus driver and whatnot. I don't know how old I was. Maybe it was 1st grade. Could have been kindergarten. But on my way to school, I remember someone's mom was pregnant, and I got dumb jealous and just lied and said my mom was too. And I rocked out, and she ended up sending a card to my mother.
Oh, no!
And my mom was like, "What are you?" And I just broke down. I remember being a kid and was like, "I don't know. They were pregnant, so I wanted to be pregnant too." So that's probably the worst.
That's quite a sweet. I mean, it's mad, but it's kind of sweet. You know,
It's terrible.
you wanted a little sibling. There's something sweet there, really.
Like,
You're gonna get
stuff as
found
a-
out. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're gonna.
And I remember
Mum, you
being
need
like,
to come-
congratulations, that's amazing. I'm like, thanks.
Do you remember what was on the
he couldn't
card?
have my thunder. Maybe that's why I'm like an artist, I guess. Maybe I need like the attention at that
That's
level.
it.
Like,
Do you remember what was on the card? Like a stalk or something
it was
like
like
that?
it was a beautiful script written like
bless.
best wishes for your future child, and then my mom was like, she's not well. And I just like, it was me. It was me.
Bless.
So your mum found out in the end, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, and I had to go on the bus the next day, and I was like, my mom's not pregnant. She was like, okay. But I never forgot that. Yeah, that's probably the craziest lie.
That's amazing.
Oh, bless.
What's the weirdest fan interaction you've ever had?
Oh, good one.
Yes. As time goes on, like the bigger things get, I think
really?
the more just it's interesting.
It's interesting. That's a word.
Yeah.
Okay, it's interesting.
It's interesting.
Not podcast friendly, I'm sure.
As far just it's a weird fan experience.
Any weird gifts or anything like that? Been
Oh, yeah.
given anything
Yeah,
weird?
yeah.
All right, what you been given us weird?
Weird or not, still appreciate it. The
Of
sentiment
course,
is-
yeah,
the sentiment.
absolutely.
But as far as weird gifts, people camping out 2 days before a show.
Sure.
There's no line. There's no reason to do that. You, can come 1 day before a show, and no one will be there. You can still,
true.
and you'll still get in at the same time, but they want to make. Let's drink hot cocoa for 2 days in a tent on a brick sidewalk. Like,
Yeah.
screw it.
Yeah.
I think they just miss camping. Do you know what I mean? It's
Maybe.
just like any old excuse.
That could
isn't
be it. I think that's the most shocking thing is we pull up in the bus and security will be like, they've been here for 2 days.
Yeah, especially when they've got seating tickets. It's like you're all going to the same place. Do you know what I mean? You ain't making it to the barrier. You're still in row B, seat 28, no matter how long you stand out front, man.
Exactly.
Oh, well.
All right, last question. What's your biggest pet peeve? What's the thing that you really, really can't stand?
Biggest pet peeve in life.
Yeah.
Okay. Biggest pet peeve, a huge pet peeve of mine is when artists talk about how much they're in the studio. That drives me crazy.
Fair play.
I live in the studio. I live in the so
right.
what? Like so what?
with you.
Like, if you made 100 songs in a day, if they're average songs, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't explain it. People think that there's a correlation between living your entire life in the studio to making
right,
great
sure.
music. I don't think that exists. That's not like an A/B equation. So a pet peeve of mine is when people be like, I live in the studio. I'll be in the studio all day. It's like, all right, great. I hope you're making good stuff.
Yeah. It's also kind of like a necessity. It's like, man, I recorded all my tracks in the studio. I was like, oh, really? Oh, yeah, what's right? Used a mic on all of them, mate. Done.
But also, like, go outside, get some sunshine.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Exactly. I think it
You don't have to
works.
be there. You don't have to do that.
Exactly.
Chill out.
Fair enough. It makes sense. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, you passed the confession booth test,
Yeah,
obviously.
well
It's
done.
nice to see you, man. It's nice to see you. I hope
thank
you have
you
a
guys
good
for
time
having me.
over here in the UK. The single's great, man. All-time low. Go check it out. And the album is The Human Condition with the beautiful artwork. Seriously, go take a look on that one. Hope you'll come back and see us again at some point. John Bellion, everybody. There he is.
Thank you guys.